The night of August 8, 1969, began like any other in the quiet hills of Los Angeles. The warm California breeze drifted through the trees, and the stars shimmered above the luxurious homes of Cielo Drive. But by morning, the world would be shaken to its core. The name Sharon Tate would forever be etched into history, not for her talent, her beauty, or her promising career, but for the horrifying way her life was taken. This is the story of Sharon Tate's terrifying death, a tragedy that shocked the world, shattered innocence, and left a haunting legacy that still lingers today. Sharon Tate was more than just a rising Hollywood star. She was a symbol of hope, beauty, and the promise of a bright future. Born in Dallas, Texas in 1943, Sharon grew up in a military family, moving frequently during her childhood. Her striking looks and natural charm quickly set her apart, and by her late teens, she was already making waves in the modeling world. In 1963, she moved to Hollywood, where her career began to take off. She landed roles in films like Valley of the Dolls and The Fearless Vampire Killers, earning praise for her talent and screen presence. But it wasn't just her career that was flourishing. Her personal life was also on the rise. In 1968, she married acclaimed director Roman Polanski, and the couple was eagerly awaiting the birth of their first child. By all accounts, Sharon Tate was living the dream. But in the early hours of August 9th, 1969, that dream was brutally shattered. The events of that night were orchestrated by Charles Manson and his followers, a cult-like group known as the Manson Family. Manson, a failed musician with a twisted vision, had convinced his followers that he was a messiah and that a race war, which he called Helter Skelter, was imminent. He believed that by committing a series of brutal murders, he could incite this war and emerge as the leader of a new world order. Manson's targets were not chosen at random. The house at 10,050 Cielo Drive had previously been rented by Terry Melcher, a music producer who had rejected Manson's demos. Although Melcher no longer lived there, Manson's followers didn't care. They were driven by blind loyalty and a warped sense of purpose. That night, 4 members of the Manson family, Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Linda Kasabian, entered the property. What followed was a nightmare. Sharon Tate was hosting a small gathering that evening. Among her guests were Jay Sebring, a celebrity hairstylist, and Wojciech Frykowski, a friend of Roman Polanski, and Abigail Folger, an heiress to the Folger coffee fortune. Also present was Stephen Parent, a teenager who had stopped by to visit the property's caretaker. As the night wore on, the group relaxed, unaware of the danger that was about to descend upon them. Around midnight, the Manson family members entered the property. What followed was a scene of unimaginable horror. Sharon Tate begged for her life and the life of her unborn child. She pleaded with her attackers, offering to do anything if they would just let her live. But her pleas fell on deaf ears. She was stabbed 16 times, and the word pig was written in her blood on the front door. Alongside her, Jay Sebring, Wojciech Frykowski, Abigail Folger, and Stephen Parent were brutally murdered. The brutality of the killings sent shockwaves across the nation. The next morning, the housekeeper arrived to find the gruesome scene. The news spread quickly, and soon, the entire world was talking about the murders. The Manson family's crimes didn't end there. The following night, they struck again, killing Leno and Rosemary LaBianca in a similarly gruesome manner. But it was the murder of Sharon Tate that captured the world's attention. Her death became a symbol of the loss of innocence, a stark reminder that evil could strike anywhere, even in the safety of one's own home. The fact that she was 8 months pregnant only added to the horror. The world was left asking, how could something like this happen? The trial that followed was a media circus. Charles Manson and his followers became household names, their faces plastered across newspapers and television screens. Manson's bizarre behavior in court only added to the spectacle. He carved an X into his forehead, ranted about his beliefs, and seemed to revel in the attention. His followers, particularly Susan Atkins, showed no remorse. They spoke openly about the murders, even laughing as they recounted the details. The trial lasted for months, and the world watched in disbelief as the gruesome details of the crimes were revealed. In the end, Manson and several of his followers were sentenced to death, though their sentences were later commuted to life in prison. But amidst the horror, there were moments of humanity. Sharon Tate's mother, Doris Tate, became a fierce advocate for victims' rights. She fought tirelessly to ensure that the voices of the victims were heard and that their memories were not overshadowed by the notoriety of their killers. Her efforts led to the creation of California's Victims' Bill of Rights, a legacy that continues to protect and empower victims to this day. Doris Tate's courage and determination were a beacon of hope in the aftermath of the tragedy, and her work has had a lasting impact on the criminal justice system. Sharon Tate's death was more than just a crime. It was a cultural turning point. The 1960s, a decade marked by peace, love, and optimism, came to a crashing halt. The Manson murders exposed the dark underbelly of society, a reminder that evil could lurk in the most unexpected places. They shattered the illusion of safety and forced people to confront the reality of violence and chaos. The murders also marked the end of an era in Hollywood. The carefree bohemian lifestyle that had defined the 1960s was replaced by a sense of fear and paranoia. The Manson family became a symbol of the dangers of unchecked extremism, and their crimes left a lasting scar on the collective psyche of the nation. Today, Sharon Tate is remembered not just for how she died, but for how she lived. She was a woman of grace, kindness, and immense talent. Her legacy lives on in the hearts of those who loved her, and in the countless lives touched by her story. The tragedy of her death serves as a reminder to cherish the moments we have, to hold our loved ones close, and to never take our safety for granted. It's also a call to action, a reminder that we must remain vigilant against the forces of hatred and violence, and that we must work to create a world where such tragedies are never repeated. The story of Sharon Tate's terrifying death is not just a tale of horror. It's a story of resilience, of the strength of the human spirit, and of the enduring power of love and memory. It's a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable darkness, there is light. And it's a call to all of us to live with purpose, to protect one another, and to never let fear dictate our lives. As we reflect on this tragic chapter in history, let us remember Sharon Tate not for the way she died, but for the way she lived. Let her story inspire us to be kinder, to be braver, and to cherish every moment we have. Because in the end, it's not the darkness that defines us. It's how we choose to shine through it. What part of the untold Sharon Tate story shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most chilling mysteries. Thank you for watching, and remember, even in the face of darkness, there is light.